my name is Caroline, founder of Equitopia, and this is the second video in our series on saddle fitting. So there's certainly enough scientific information out there right now to indicate that each horse is different, and it's really important to make sure that a saddle fits the horse at all time. In this video, we are proud to work with master saddle fitter Jochen Schlese, who will point out 6 signs that might indicate that your saddle is part of a problem you are having, and some tools to help you find a solution to see if that may be an area that you need to delve further into.
We love our horses. Some of us work with the horses. It's a business. Most of us are pleasure riders. We have the horse, we have a very strong connection, and we come in the barn and they nicker and they're looking forward to see us, and they come out and all of a sudden something changed. They're not nicker anymore. They turn away, and the second I approach with my saddle, all of a sudden the ears goes back. So I'm going to put it on now. See, he's anticipating it before it even comes. And now it's on and he stops. Why is she getting so mad? Of course it could be, does the horse have some other issues? Teeth, shoeing, training, riding. But the saddle is so easy to identify if this is the case, and especially if the horse tells you this. When you have the saddle and you go to the horse and the horse reacts, watch for these 6 signs. Let me walk you through this. The first sign to look for it is your horse moving down and away from pain? One of the main causes is that the shoulder can't slide through this triangle underneath the saddle. Here we got a tree, here we got the scapular. When the horse is moved, the shoulder blade goes upwards, backwards. The scapular needs to slide through this area. I marked this green point right here. Every saddle, it doesn't hurt your saddle. If you bend it, you can see where the metal plate ends. So this green line has to be parallel with the shoulder. Let me demonstrate this, how you can find the angle of the shoulder on your horse. Is you take a pencil or a pen, lay it at the top of the withers and flip it over, and then press on the middle of the pen. That is the angle of the shoulder. Here we got our angle. And if you don't have chalk, 2 pen will work too. Again, go to the widest part, flip it once around, push on the middle of the shoulder, and then put the other one right on the pipe. You're going to look right from this angle and see, are these 2 pens are parallel? Don't make the mistake and put it on top of the shoulder. And as you can see, these 2 pens do not match. They're not the same angle. Make sure you flip it over, push on the middle, and then run that other pen on the pipe. Clearly we see here that these 2 pens don't align. This angle on this western saddle for this horse will not work. The second point you can look for it, if the horse doesn't move forward. What causes that is that the horse gets pinched at the withers. What you see is that your horse is jumping hollow, it's not going forward, U-neck, not engaging. Let's remember, your saddle tree, there could be angle, and what I'm going to talk to you is the width right through here. So here we have a tree what is very narrow from here to here, and here's one what's a little wider from here to here. I want to see this nice and wide for 2 reasons. Not pinching the withers and for the shoulder to get actually through here. Pinching the withers very often appears in this area here. Go to the base of the withers, go behind the shoulder blade, go 4 inch down and draw yourself a triangle. This triangle is very, very, very sensitive. So if your tree is too narrow in the tree width, it will pinch in this area. A very easy trick you can do with an English saddle, Western saddle, racing saddle, you need a pencil or very thin pen. When the saddle sits on the horse, you want to be able to move your pen very easy in that triangle, and then you want to feel a nice even contact right down here where your saddle needs to sit. You want to see no pinching or pressure in that 4 inch. This is a very good example of a very bad saddle. I can't even move my pen through it. And when I force it through it, all of a sudden, whoop, there's a big hole, a gap. So what that saddle actually does, sits on that withers and pinches this withers. This is a good example. You can see how easy the pen rolls through. Nothing pinches on the side, lots of room on the wither muscles, and then a nice even contact all the way through here. The third thing is, if you see swellings on the spine, you see bumps on the spines, you see deformity of the spine, check out if the channel is wide enough. You start off by finding the edge of the spine and where that back muscle stops. And if you run your pen or chalk or your fingertip against the hairline, you will see the muscle tighten. So we want to stay away from all those nerve endings. Do not put any pressure on that area. The fourth thing your horse may experience is the hock or stifle issues. You might experience lead issues. The horse is cantering very easy to the left, but will not pick up the right lead canter. Cross canters, you also find it, horse is not bending as good to one side than the other. One of the things you can do, you can see, is your saddle going to the right or to the left. The best way and the easiest way to do is have somebody right behind you. And if you really want to check for it, do it in the rising trot, going through a diagonal in the arena. Look at the canter. Does it swing always to one side? 7 out of 10 swing to the right. Number 5, ruffled hairs, girth galls, white hairs, saddle sores. When the saddle moves in the position because the billets are too far forward, what will happen, the saddle is not supported in the middle, all the pressures in the back, you will see white hairs, and on some horses you will see divots in the musculature. To avoid it, make sure that you have a saddle that the billets hang in the right area. Where would the girth go? Look underneath, where's the flat spot? Here you see the saddle behind the shoulder and the billets fall right in the girth groove. That's how it should be. And if your billets hang straight down, but they hang behind that girth mark, the girth will always follow the smallest area and it will go here. Or you might just pull it forward. So what happens next is the saddle will move forward, ruffles up the hair, sits now on the wrong area, and the only thing what holds that saddle from going further forward is the girth, and it galls the horse. Another sign to look for it is if your horse develops a muscle behind the saddle. They call it helmeting muscle. Or if your horse has a hole or a dip in front of the SI. You will see another funky muscle on the tail. What causes that is that the saddle is too long. It gets pushed forward, excess pressure in the lumbar area, it slides onto the shoulder, the horse starts stumbling and is not able to move forward. Find the point of the pelvis, move your fingers forward, run that chalk past the last rib all the way to the top, and then go straight down. This saddle puts pressure past the last rib. If you ride with the saddle, this movement of the horse's lumbar, through the motion, the saddle gets pushed forward until it's off the lumbar area. Your saddle must sit behind the shoulder and in front of the lumbar area. Some saddles may be over the shoulder, over the last rib. So long the saddle doesn't dig into the loin and it flares up the back and it flares up over the shoulder. The weight-bearing surface has to be on top of the rib cage.
It's also important to bear in mind that once you have a properly fitted saddle to your horse, the horse will change as they go through their training process, and it's always important to have a check system to make sure that as your horse grows and changes, your saddle is adjusted accordingly.